Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Sulman Rahim here, Master of the Covenant, breaker of the seven seals. The sign of Jonah, brothers and sisters. Sign of Jonah. That's the sign everyone is waiting for. Sign of Jonah. What is the sign of Jonah? It's a sign of repentance. Someone's repenting of something. Well, brothers and sisters, the sign of Jonah is repentance of the Nation of Islam, of the chief demon, Farrakhan. He's a liar, a thief. He's cursed. He's Aaron. He said Aaron would turn the hearts back to Egypt, have worshiped the golden calf, right? Cause them to be a laughing stock before the enemies. What else you need to know about Aaron? He'd be successor of Elijah. And then will come Joshua, the son of man, who will put Farrakhan down, Aaron down, destroy him and his followers, and take people back to the promised land. The promised land. Let's look at that, the promised land, brothers and sisters. Look at this promised land. Sign of Jonah. The sign of Jonah, like I said, is a sign of repentance. So they don't cast down, the thrones are cast down to my ancient days. Ancient days did set in Elijah's seat, but thrones would be cast down first. What thrones? The people in charge. The son of addition who's been deceiving the people made war with the saints for 42 years and prevailed from 1980 to 2022. Now his time is up. Who the Lord will consume with the spirit of his mouth and destroy with the brightness of his coming. So it's about to be destroyed. A people without a vision perishes. What does that mean, brothers and sisters? So when Elijah Muhammad was president, he had a vision. He had a vision, promised land vision. They killed Martin Luther King for even mentioning it. He gave the promised land speech. He was dead the next day. They don't want you to have that vision because you're a nation within a nation. You're a cancer to America. When you have a cancer, one or the other has to go. They can't coexist. You have a different nature. It's not we're all the same people, same humans. It says that God will make a distinction between us and the people of Egypt. We don't have the same nature. Now, the ones that they expose to you, they parade before you every day, the demons, they have their nature. See? And they speak like their masters speak because they have the same nature as their devil daddies. They're the seed of their devil daddies. There's the chaff that was sowed amongst the wheat. That Elijah was told, do not try to separate them. That will be Joshua, the son of man's job. Yes, they are. Demons. And so their purpose is to confuse you, to snatch your vision away. The vision of Abrahamic covenant. And people without a vision perishes. Where's your vision, brothers and sisters? Farrakhan is snatched away. He says we're not going anywhere. So he's calling God liar. He's calling Master Muhammad liar. He's calling Elijah Muhammad liar. Right? He's saying we're not going anywhere when the scriptures that promise clearly states that after 40 years, God will judge this nation, will return home. But he doesn't read that last sentence. Why? Why does he read all other sentences but don't read that one? And then he's our accuser. See, you're sinful because according to him, we deserve the Holocaust. We deserve to be slavery. We deserved all that because we were sinful. That's a lie. Elijah Muhammad never taught you any such thing. But that's what he's saying. So therefore, who is rewarded, right? For being punished. So we've been punished, and we shouldn't get rewarded. That's why he's telling you that. But he's got us locked down because he snatched your vision all the way. Because the only vision you can have now is a vision of Aaron to turn people's vision back to Egypt, to the American dream. That means they continue to have control over you. because they have lost control of you, as it says in Mark, when Elijah Muhammad gave you a counter dream, Abraham a covenant. But he snatched that away from you. He's telling you, no, you should, right? Stay here. American dream. We'll talk about that more later. See? So what vision do you have? You think you only have one vision, American dream, but you see America's fall apart. Elijah Muhammad says we burn down to the ground. So Pharaoh can tell you don't have one. So you got to fight for America. It means you got to fight against God. I said the demons would prepare the people to fight against God that great, terrible day. That's what got you doing. You don't even know it. So I'm going to show you some things here, how to apply math, right, to real life situations that's come up lately. Now consider that. You see the white ones with the arrows in it? Because they're the personification by energy deprivation. They're a negative force against us. The black ones represent us. Like a checkerboard table, they all mixed in with us. Those are demons. They mixed in with us. So they become the force. And I did a calculation that says, you know, the more you combine together, the less force you experience, the less counter force you experience. But in this case here, you got force all throughout because each one of those represents a negative force. Each devil sensitive personification by energy deprivation, they are the force, they are the pressure. That's why I say they're personification, they are the force, they are the pressure. So they're all mixed in with us. That's why we played with them. Because you look at the pressure like come from the outside, but they're in the inside. Wolves in sheep clothing. They keep us divided, weak, working against ourselves. Because it says the man was fighting against himself. He was hurting himself. He was beating himself. Living amongst the tombs, amongst Lazarus, dead people. But when I say understand, I say, but that personification is deprivation, right? Then, because you look at it like the pressure on us is external. No, since there's deprivation of that pressure, they're inside. So they keep divided, and we're experiencing that force from every side. So there might be a resemblance, a semblance of unity, because we're all together, but we're not. See, that's the danger. It looks like we're all together, because it said we're all black. So it looks like it. So if we're all together, how can we experience, why we're not experiencing less pressure? No, we're experiencing just as much pressure, even more in a way. Because they're the personification of that energy deprivation, that force, and so they within us, so we experience it from every side. Because I'm gonna show you in a minute, when you join together, you only experience it on your 6 sides of your cube. But they experience it on every side because the force is within us, it's amongst us, because they're the personification of that negative force. And so they're in between them. So we're not getting the benefit of unity, because this situation, uniting with them, right, is causing even more pressure upon us. That's their purpose. Let's look at it. And see what happens? See, if you understand this and you understand basic mathematics, you don't even need the angel. You need the angel for details, colors, HD. But for the process, you don't need it. Because basic mathematics tell you what's going to happen. Don't tell you when, just tell you what's going to happen. So what happens is, now the Suleiman comes and separate the demons from the saints. Now, you can do the calculation and see they have low pressure on them now. And the more of it is, the less of the pressure, because the demons have been separated. But now the demons are united. Because they will be united in a 5-month war against Massa. They call them locusts. But we will be united aside from them. And so now we have unity, so we experience less pressure. and we're forced to reckon with. Understand, brothers and sisters? We have to be very careful. This mathematics shows you what's the deal is, what has to be happened, what has to be separated. And then we're separated, and it's half and half. 17 million original, 17 million devils, black-faced devils. Now I'm talking about another thing. See, vector components. See, here it shows you how to, if you have a vector, vector force. See, a vector is direction and force, right? And force is another way for power. But vector is direction, right? Force. Just force has to have direction. That's what vector is. So you vectors represent that idea, and then you can calculate vectors. So in this case here, we have that vector going up on the slope, and we can determine what the forces that cause that to act that way. And we use these kind of coordinate systems. So we see one is 3 inches long and one's 4 inches long. In vertical condition and no horizontal condition. So you can discern, oh, well, here's a force. Well, what was the force that caused that force? Remember, a vector is force, right, and direction. Okay? So I want to say this is show something. Now see here, what you see is someone's moving towards the American dream, right? And here's someone trying to convert that. That's what you do mental. You talk to people. Because when you a vector, your thoughts are force. The energy is a force. And it affects other people's minds, whether they like it or not. If they hear it, it affects them. Okay? So I'll show you, let me go to the next one. And see that black one, that's the force that's acting. Now the other one's their force that's acting upon. See? And on the right is result. This act on the force that's on the left, and result, it changed their path to the force on the right. So anytime you're talking to people and they hear you, you're affecting them because your voice is pressure, it's a force. The greater the force, the greater the impact on other people, right? Change their direction. See there? So, but see, the problem is, you'll probably see the next slide, is that's one of the reasons why I don't want to follow on people, because you see it, that red one, I say that's me, right? I say the other one's people. Say some of us 104,000, some Levites, some are demons, right? So they're all heading towards the American dream at some angle. Let's say the blue one is heading straight. That's the devils and demons, right? And say the one, the orange one, right? That's 140,000 person. And say the yellow one, that's the demon. So we say the blue one's the devil, right? He's straight heading toward the American dream because that's nature. And the yellow one, he's heading that general direction too. See? But the orange one, he's heading the general direction. He's headed by the promised land. So then, Shuma hits him with more truth about the promised land. And then you see on the right is an effect. Because it makes all of them move at an angle. Depends on the angle they're moving in, relation to the angle that Suleiman is moving in. So then you have that. So then you see the result. So the orange one, he's going more and more towards the promised land. The blue one's going right, blue towards it, may not make it. And yellow one, right, is going towards it, it might not make it either. Let's look at this. And see this? Now see, the devil does this, right? He does, that's one of the tricks he does. So the problem is, you see, all the way on the right, those three rebels, right? So I'm showing in the middle there, right? The red one was surrounded by red, right? It's hitting that. And then you see the result. Now on the result here, I'm showing, I'm hitting it, right? Again, but see, the problem is, right? I'm not showing in detail here. I don't plan on going in detail here. But say you're trying to get these going to the promised land. And so you hit them and you change the direction. See? And so you keep hitting them as time goes longer. See, you can keep going all the way till he gets all the way to the American dream, then you run out of space. So you keep on doing it. So say everybody's like the orange. Then everybody's going and you see orange, it's just going to make it. It's going to make it to the promised land before the end. The end is when it hits the American dream. That's a failure, so it's a bankrupt, it's dead. But say you got the other ones there. Now say he says, I'm gonna spend time trying to convert that demon. Then in order to get him to, that one to turn towards the promised land, he's got to change the direction of his vector. And see, power, see, mass times acceleration equals force. But the way I'm interpreting power, force and power is the same thing. So force, so mass times acceleration, energy times discipline, because where celebration is changing things from one direction to another, changing this movement, controlling this movement. Acceleration, that's what discipline is. You controlling the movement of your body. That's acceleration, it's the act of acceleration, because you're changing something. That's what discipline, because your body will do one thing, you change, you force to do something else. So you could say energy times discipline equals power. Okay. And I said force, right? A vector is direction times force is direction times energy. Force is. Gotta have direction, right? You have to have energy. What direction is it going? And that brings you to force. So I'm saying is that if I'm going, if I have a say I'm going along and I got 10, 20 people going along with me, and they're in tune, then someone comes along that's inerrant and troublesome, and I want to take on the burden of trying to get that person straight. They're going a different angle. So that means I have to change my angle to get them to go in the angle I want. I got to, you understand it? I got to change. See, that's why the rebels are looking at a different angle. I got to change the angle to get them to go in the direction I want. So I hit them at first, right there on the 3, and that was resulting on to the right. And so I said, oh man, I want to get that. I want to get that yellow one going. So I got to hit it at a great angle to change his angle towards. You see what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? But if I do that, how is that going to affect the other ones? Because now they've been hit with that angle, same as that one's hit with. Because they've all been hit at the same time, right? But at this point, this more the angle, but now I'm also hitting us with the angle. So I'm going to affect what they do now. They may be going the right direction, but now they're differently altered because I had to alter my force to try to bring the other one around. And you don't want to do that kind of thing because you may lose 100 people trying to get one person. They said, well, Jesus said he would go out and get that land that got lost. That's not this is about, brothers and sisters. He said he's going to change his direction. So going to motivate it. Same thing he did with Lazarus. No. The demon-possessed man, he wasn't trying to change. The demon-possessed man was coming towards him. He wasn't trying to change direction. He wasn't trying to change his direction. He wasn't trying to change his direction. Trying to motivate it along. Same thing that story about the man's son who went astray. Then he came back to the father, right? He came back. So the father wasn't trying to change direction. He's motivating him. See? So you're going to take and change your direction, the message for that one, and equip the path to the others. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying, brothers and sisters. Because to change the direction of that one, like that yellow one down there on the right, change direction, that means you got to change your direction to get that vector to go in the direction that you want it to go. But if you do that, you change the direction because that's the way you're affecting all the rest of them too. So you had them going in the direction you want when you was going straight up, 90 degrees. But now you had to change to what? 60 degrees or whatever to get to go in that direction. But now you're affecting others at that degrees too. So you may be changing their course that direction. I think I'm gonna leave that there, bro, because and probably confusing you. But another thing you can look at here. Now you see here I say promised land in one direction, American dream in another direction, right? Think about that. Now Suleiman is trying to get everyone going towards the promised land. The devil is trying to get everyone going, right, towards American dream, which will keep us under American control because their dream, their vision, and they control their vision. And so we'd be under their thumb if we kept following the American dream, going that path. And we know that's going to lead to destruction. Suleiman's trying to get you going towards the promised land, but he's trying to give you vision. See, they have a dream. You know, dreams not real. He's trying to give you the vision of promised land. The people without vision perish. Okay? So, anyone who is telling you is not pointing you towards the promised land is your enemy. Because Farrakhan is a vector. I'm a vector. Force times direct, force by direction. Force and direction what makes it a vector. Well, you have to have force and direction. What vectors are. See? That's what vectors are. So he's a force. I call himself teaching you that's the force. He's talking, you tell him that's the force. So his program, but his program is pushing towards American dream because he snatched away the promised land. He said you're not going anywhere. So he took that vision away from you and pointed you to a dream. He's pointing to a dream because of America. We ain't going anywhere. His whole point is you eventually take over America. Now think about that. He says you're eventually going to inherit America one day. I'm reciting the story of Joseph, which is not the case at all. But Abraham comes and says, no, we're going home, return home. He says, no. You're going to fall back on Joseph, which is wrong. You understand? So, he's going to tell you, you're not going anywhere, that you're going to inherit America one day. Now, even if that's true, which is not, it's not going to happen in your lifetime. Because America has hands over. If you want to control America, well, if you're going to coexist with America, that's a different thing altogether. He's right, a lot of homesteads are going to be destroyed. You want to coexist. But you understand what I'm saying? So he's your enemy. He took your vision away and gave you a dream. Support America. Bring devils in our eyes, so forth, so on. He snatched your vision away. Then say people that have a dream, because in fact, they said a dream, a prophet that comes and said they had a dream should put them to death. So dream is not has no impact here on us. But he says, he's trying to point you to American dream. He says, Aaron will turn hearts back to Egypt, trying to divert you from, and that's how you know that he's a liar, he's an enemy, and he's working for the devil. Because devil, his vector, that's that blue vector, he's pushing to try to get everybody going towards American dream. What Suleiman is trying to do, going vertical, trying to get everybody to promised land vision. You understand, brothers and sisters? It's easy to see Farrakhan if you're not a demon you want to see. You understand, brothers? I'm going to leave that there. Now, we understand how mass acceleration works. I'm going to talk a little bit on this. Mass time acceleration. Energy times discipline is power. Energy times discipline is a force, power. So he's taking your discipline away and getting you abuse your energy. So you don't have any power. Your power relies on Muhammad, you have none with Farrakhan. Plus giving you Scientology stuff. What's wrong with the Quran? Reciting the Quran moves the density of your heart. See, the problem is, as you go through life, right, your heart is like a car, a Lamborghini driving real fast down a dirt road. So all the rocks hitting, by the time it gets where it's going, it got all kinds of barks and dents all in it. It looks bad, depending how long it drives on that dirt road. So now you have two options. You have three options. You get rid of it, get a dent remover, or paint it over. Scientology paints it over. Dent still is, it's painted over. Reciting the Quran removes it, there's dent remover. More you recite, more of these, and you try it on your own. You just try it, find out. Not take my word for it, don't question anything. Over time, it removes those quickly, really, actually. Move those dents. And so now, as the Bible says, you become as a child. Because you're restored. Get your mind back. Your body back. Understand, brothers and sisters? Let's move on, brothers and sisters. Oh. Okay. So that is force, pressure. Force converted to pressure. Force converted to pressure. See? Pressure, force, same thing, it's just spread out. That's the idea behind a bulletproof vest. It's built a certain material that a bullet hits it, force, right? It spreads it out. So you still feel the full blunt of the force, but it's still in sense of pressure, so it might break your bones, knock you down, but it won't penetrate and kill you. That's the idea behind it. So I just showed you how you convert force to pressure. You can convert pressure back to force again. Because when you fire a bullet, right, the gunpowder explodes, that's pressure, right? And it forces the bullet out, which is force. So you convert pressure back to force, both ways. Understand that? And see what happened there. I still got a little. What's going on here? Oops. See, that's force. Act on that person. He's on his knees praying to Jesus, whoever, right? Force hits him, right? There's no defense against it, but it's prayers. And that's what happens. Blows him apart. Because he don't understand prayer. He doesn't understand 5 fundamental principles of Islam. So the pressure, because we're all under pressure, we're all under the same amount of pressure. But we use wisdom to offset that pressure. Unity minimizes the pressure. I explained that earlier. Unity minimizes the pressure. We're all under the same amount of pressure. We use wisdom to minimize it or to offset it, but but it takes wisdom. Remember, you still took a force to offset the force, because that's what thinking is. That's what pressure is, force. So you found a way to take your mind, use the pressure of your mind to alleviate the pressure of your body, of your being. Hope you understand that, brothers and sisters. You see here? See? That's force again. What happens here? Because you have a pressure field, see, that force, instead of penetrating, it breaks it down to pressure, like a bulletproof vest does. So now it's spread out. And the greater that field is, the more it's broken down. So instead of getting a bullet to the head that will kill you, you get a lot of little pricks. That's how much that is. See? It could be little things happen, like, oh man, I stumbled over here, or I got a little cold over here, or something. Or it could be even less than that, right? You got an annoying neighbor. Be less than that. I mean, notice anything at all, because it's spread out so much, little pricks, right? Maybe you drop things. Maybe something as simple as that. You understand? Because the bigger that is, the more it breaks the pressure down. And how do you form that? That is a result of 5 fundamental pillars of Islam, because you learn to create power, right? The discipline times energy, right, equals power. So discipline, by the five mathematical principles of Islam, you create a force field, and so you're walking through the furnace and don't get burnt. You walk, because we're in a pressure field here, and the devils convert a lot of pressure into force, bullets and things like that. So we're flying around all day, every day, not just bullets, but all kind of everything, from lies, car accidents, all kinds of stuff. Because all that the result is just different aspects. It's just different aspects of pressure. Just different qualities of pressure. That's it. The pressure's 5 pounds per square inch, right? It can come in all different type of forms. 5 can be 2 plus 5, 2 plus 3. It can be 1 plus 4. It can be 9 minus 4. It can be all kinds of forms, but it's still 5. So it comes all kinds. It come in, like I said, come in the form of bad luck, tumor, in all kinds of forms, or just a bullet. But when you have this, you break it down so it's not lethal. It may be annoying, irritating, but it won't be lethal, it won't be fatal. And the more you do it, the less you notice it. See, we break everything mathematically here. Understand, brothers and sisters? That's 5 fundamental principles of Islam. See, I get the mathematics behind it. When you apply it, you produce that force field. The more you apply it, the greater that force field. So you walk to the furnace of America and don't get burned. Okay? That's why we have Lamb's Book of Life, because some of you walk through, then you're like a blind elephant. You got the power, but no direction. That's what vectors. You have to have direction with vector, force. See? So without direction, right? Oh, I think I said it wrong. Without direction, you got energy. See? But no direction. You got a force. A vector is a force with direction. So you got a force, but you don't have direction. No discipline. And America's coming apart because they have no discipline. They're not disciplined people. They have to be taught this, and that's why they're giving books. Okay. And that's why prophets sent. What does a prophet send with? He sent with a book, that's direction, and his force. How much he believes in what he's doing, how much force he has. Most are usually stubborn, how much force, but the book provides his direction. That's a vector. If you're going to lead, you need the vector. How can you be a leader without knowing the mathematics of vectors? Because lead, right, you have to deal with resistance. You have to show people how to overcome resistance. You overcome resistance with force, because resistance is force. So if you don't know the vector language, vector mathematics, how can you be a leader? Because that's the mathematics you need to be a leader, to guide people. And you need the book, right? So you need force and the book. The book show you it's like a blind elephant. You got the strength, but you don't have guidance. So you need the eyes too. That's what the book provides, the guidance. The Quran, it provided guidance for 1,000 years. Angel providing guidance for right now. See? All these books, they provide the guidance for the period of time they were revealed in. And then you need the strength, the force. That's a vector. Okay? So then you have power. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. You need the guidance. That's what Sulaiman provided. That's what angels provide, the guidance for this time. You don't need guidance for some other time. You can't use a map that shows you how to get to Florida and try to use that map to get to Oregon. So the book tells you how to get to a certain point in time, certain place. That's what Quran does. And then the angel picks up from there. Because you get certain place, hey, you can't go any further. The map doesn't go any further. What do I do now? Okay, you need a book to go further. So it works, brothers and sisters. No book will take you all the way there. The angel will get you to the promised land. Then that book won't be any good anymore. It'd be useful for studying, to increase your mind power, but it won't be any guidance. Because the time will be different. We get home, the times will be different. We need a different guidance. We hold home at home, in our own land, then overflow of milk and honey. We hold, a whole different dynamic. And the angel doesn't provide you for that. Neither does crime. Okay? So you need a new book. But the angel gets you there, and will get you there perfectly. It's a perfect book to get you home to the hereafter, if you're willing to listen. We understand, brothers and sisters. Now I'm talking about a couple more things. I'm going to close out, brothers and sisters. Now, a couple of times, symbiotic relationship. Now, I talked about this when I was talking about math. Does Farrakhan know this math? The Silas, seventh angel, the Ben Yavi, whatever his name is? No. So you have a symbiotic relationship between animals and people. You have a symbiotic relation between plants and animals, because we breathe out carbon monoxide, breathe oxygen. Trees do just the opposite. Without trees, we suffocate. Yet they're cutting down the forest in the great forest, right? In South, so-called South America and Africa, with those forests, they were the lungs of the planet. So they kept the planet rich in oxygen at the highest levels possible. But now they cut them down. Those rainforests, they call them, now they cut them down. The oxygen content is being diminished. What does that mean? That's a dumbing down of the population of the planet. Because the more oxygen you have, the better you can think. The less oxygen you stop, your thinking slows down. If you take enough oxygen, after a while you become sleepy. and you go unconscious. Why? Because your brain needs oxygen like your muscles need oxygen also. That's one of the reasons why I tell you don't go swimming after you eat, because you take a lot of oxygen out of circulation. Because the blood, you take a lot of blood out of circulation, the blood carries oxygen to the muscles. So now your muscles cramp up because you out there swimming and you're demanding to stay afloat, right? That your muscles might respond, but you don't have enough energy to make them respond to that level. And so they cramp up. And then next thing you know, you're dead. You understand? Same thing with your brain. You think, but you don't have the oxygen levels to think. So therefore, maybe is that part of the reason why you get Alzheimer's? We know all these movies and everything don't help. Is that part of the reason? It's so bad now. Everybody's thinking crazy. You know, the world is just nuts. Everybody, you say, is anybody logical in this world? Rational? Is everybody dizzy? Or for oxygen deprivation? To energy deprivation, but people suffer oxygen deprivation, because those are the rainforests, those are the oxygen lungs of the planet. And they're cutting them down. They come down, we all suffocate. Before we suffocate, we all go mad. We out here can't think. Everybody be thinking down on the level of a 2-year-old. And right now, if you look at the planet, everybody's on the level of about a 10-year-old right now. So they're saying it makes no sense. You don't know a woman, you don't know a woman's a woman, you don't know anything. You see, that makes sense to them if you suffer from oxygen deprivation. We talk energy deprivation, but always talk about quality. Oxygen is the quality of energy, certain type of energy. It's energy. I just talk about energy deprivation in general, but there's different forms of energy deprivation. Oxygen is one of them. And oxygen levels of the planet has diminished. That means the thinking of the people, the power of the people to think is diminished, because you need oxygen, and oxygen is less. It's going to affect everybody. You put yourself in a room where oxygen is depleted, you don't have it's not replaced, you find yourself getting drowsy. After a while, you fall asleep and eventually you just die. And that's what they've done. They're cutting down the forests, the rainforests, and that's dumbing down the mental ability of the whole planet, everybody. Because those are like the lungs of the whole planet. 2 rainforests, one on the west hemisphere and one in the eastern hemisphere. That's it. But see, they don't know that because they're alien to this. We create this. We create all this. We set all this up. Then you got no symbiotic relationship between the devils and us. See? And you see that in spades, the so-called chain slavery, because who's taking the shit they give to us? Because they gave us shit. They gave us shit to eat, to wear, everything else. And we turn into gold for them, mansions and all kinds of things for them. That was symbiotic relationship, because everything is based on recycling. Well, you eat nutritious food, right? And we turn into urine and feces. And with that goes to the ground, right? And then it fertilizes the ground, so the ground produces more nutrition. It's recycling. I said that's very general, but that's exactly what happens. The waste that you eliminate after you eat nutrition goes back into the soil, and then, right? And then produces more nutrition, recycling. And so the devils have done it with us. That's one of the reasons why they won't let us go. Because we're a symbiotic relationship with them. You're still a slave right now. You don't admit it. You're still a slave right now. They said, what does industrial slave look like? You realize you're still a slave, right? And you're still performing. They say the wealth rate between devils and us is like 1,000 to 1. For every dollar we make, they make 1,000. Symbiotic relationship. So it was, we get the shit and they get the gold. We turn their shit into gold, and they turn our gold into shit. So they give us the gold shit part, and we get the gold part. And we're still doing it. You're a Burger King, you're making them rich, and you're lucky if you can afford to eat the burger. Living wage. That's why that's one of the reasons why we got to get away from them. They control the nature of our energy, the quality of it. See, wow, you could be there, or keep being there, still control it. Because they say, okay, you got $1 million. They tell you the only thing you can buy is $1 million shit farm. Because they control what you can buy, even though how much money you got. Remember a few years back when with Dick Gregory, that clown, and someone else, I don't know, Oprah, whatever, they tried to buy a radio station, they would not let them do it. These people up in the billions, because they want to control the media. They wouldn't let them do it. Because they say, you got the money, why should you be able to do it? You got the money, remember redlining? You got the money, but why can't you buy this house? Symbiotic relationship, brothers and sisters. What about that, Farrakhan? You got a symbiotic relationship going with you too. Because you get in mansions and everything else, he's telling you, hey, just pray. When trouble comes, right, time of indignation, just hide yourself in your secret chambers and pray. Yeah, he's got his mansions and everything else. You're giving him, what he's turning back to you? Nothing. He's giving you shit. He's putting out his ass. They call it honey. And by now you should recognize that's what it is. It's shit. I mean, it smells like it. Tastes like it, don't it? But just because he says honey, oh, it must be honey because I'm going to say honey. And you taste and see it's shit. Because he's not giving anything. He's not benefiting you in any way. Lying to you about everything. Symbiotic relationships, brothers and sisters. I'm going to leave that one there. Topsoil. We ain't going nowhere. But part of it said, well, that's sand over there. Well, you know something? Sand, why do they call soil soil? Because oil is in soil. Because the same thing that makes oil makes soil. And wherever you find a lot of oil, that means there's a lot of soil there. Unless they've abused it. Because they both made by the same method, same process. And so under that sand, over in Arabia, where they had the most abundant source of oil, and there is rich topsoil, because it's created from dead organic matter. But if they got that much oil, that means Arabia had to be a paradise at one point in time, because it takes millions of years for decay to convert into oil and topsoil. So that place that had that much, it had to be a paradise. It had to be a paradise. We covered it with sand because we know it was going to return. That's no story together, brothers and sisters. There's plenty of topsoil. More topsoil in Arabia than any place else in the world. Then overflowing with milk and honey. The vision they don't want you to have. Because if you're having a vision, that means you have to go along with their dream, American dream. And they're in charge of it. They're controlling you by virtue of it. We understand, brothers and sisters. Okay, brothers, I think I covered pretty much everything I wanted to cover here. For Farrakhan, his time is over. His time is over. In 42 years to reign, son of perdition follows the devil. He admits it. Says follows a white Caucasian Portuguese Jew, which would make him a black Caucasian Portuguese Jew. Satan casting out Satan. He's a liar. He's a liar. But the point is that he got those demons over there. And it's his job to take your vision away. So they keep you under control. There's two things they don't want. They don't want you to leave, they don't want your unity. But unity will destroy them. They don't want that. That's what the sign of Jonah is all about. Because if they see first sign of unity, they're going to take you out. You know, your unity will be their destruction. First sign of unity, they'll take you out. And when Nineveh, Nation of Islam, repents throughout Farrakhan, that means he threw out the demons with him. That's what you see in Mark. The demons were separated from the man. The demons were thrown back into their swine daddies. Sign of Jonah. And we know Lazarus wakes up at the same time. That means they have to take you out. And right now, they're in a dilemma. Because Iran is rich uranium at a high rate. Now they got some secret facilities built deep on the ground where they can't bomb it. And now they say rich it almost twice as fast. They say already have enough material for several bombs. They said, well, it's got to decide to turn them into bombs. They said now, they say, well, they got cruise missiles. So they don't need a regular missile. A cruise missile will do it. That means they can have a nuclear bomb. They don't have it already anytime. That means if they commit to what they said, false Israel and Biden, that means they can attack their place immediately because they can't afford for Iran to have nuclear weapons. False Israel definitely can't because now that would neutralize the ones they have. And then they'd be forced to fight a war of attrition, a ground war, because they could not win if they could win against the Arabs. The Arabs, they couldn't win against Iran. They know that because the Iranians would fight. If the Arabs jump in, it's all over. So they can't, that's why it's an existential threat that Iran gets nuclear weapons. They can't have that happen. And now they're already practicing for bombing runs against Iran. And that's a sign, and that is what will happen once Master Muhammad sees a sign, because he knows that they're going to attack that dragon stood by to devour the child as soon as they're born. But you don't understand what that child is. That's the nation. The nation was born in a day. And what's the nation? Once you understand the angel, right? And the ark, you understand what the nation is. And then when that nation coming together, so we'll come together today, and so the dragon was devoured as soon as they're born. Over there and over here. Part of it's here and part of it's there. So come together. And when they see it's happening, when they see sign of JONAH, when Nation of Islam, right, takes and repents to Farrakhan, that's the sign of unity, and they go into action. Master Muhammad's looking for that sign too. And before they can go into action, he goes into action just before they do. And that's when war breaks out in the Middle East, distraction. To give Suleiman time enough to bring the Levites up to speed. False Israel under siege. So you see a run because they're about to take down. They take it down, be clear with truth Abraham. And at that same time, a famine is going to hit. Famine would hit at the same time. When the war starts, the famine is going to hit here. There'll be no food. So that means you'll be on the menu. You may accept or reject. That's up to you, brothers and sisters. That's actual fact. That's what's going to happen. We're trying to warn you. Farrakhan claims he's the warner. He's not the warner. He's not warning you about anything. He's the watchman. Only thing we tell about how great he is, he's the one for the last couple of months. He hasn't talked anything about world events. He don't talk, first don't know. But he says, oh, watchman, you have to, so son of man, I'll make you a watchman to the children of Israel. And if you see war coming, you don't warn them, right? And if you see calamity coming, you don't warn them. You see famine coming along them. I'm warning you of all these things. And you're going to see them in a minute. I just hope some of you catch on before it's too late. Because it says when Michael rise, it's Master Muhammad. He don't take the elect, those in the Lamb's Book of Life, those when they woke up fast enough and Suleiman accepted and certified them, 144,000. Those ones he's going to take out here. And take out all the sisters. They ain't demons, but they wouldn't be sisters either, would they? All sisters, right? They want to go. They don't have no devil in their arms, sleeping with devils, devil babies, and they're going. And then it says some everlasting life, some everlasting shame and appallment. That means there's two groups that are left behind. They wake up. One everlasting shame and appallment, one everlasting life. See, that's the ones that woke up too late. That the Levites had to stay here and teach them as Suleiman taught them, so you can build that force field around yourself so you can walk through the flames without being burnt. So you walk through the flames without being burnt. Let me say it again. So you walk through the flames, the furnace, without being burnt. We're going to stand, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.